Welcome, friends, to a special episode on CNS Live. As we know, heads of 193 countries globally are in New York at the 73rd United Nations General Assembly to debate on sustainable societies. Our governments have promised sustainable development where no one is left behind. Is it possible to dream of a better tomorrow for everyone unless we eliminate war, conflicts, and find sustainable energy options? I'm sure all of us would agree that we need to abolish nuclear weapons as well as use sustainable energy options if we want a better world for everyone. But is our military budget increasing or decreasing? Are we buying more or less arms? Are we going for sustainable green energy options? Today in CNS Live, we have Ramon Magsaysay Awardee Dr. Sandeep Pandey amongst us, who has led several foot marches and awareness campaigns in India and Pakistan. He and his supporters took out a global peace march in 1999 from Pokharan, the nuclear test site in India, to Sarnath, in which I have walked to for some distance. In 2005, he led India-Pakistan Peace March from Delhi in India to Multan in Pakistan, mobilizing citizens for peace, for a nuclear-free South Asia, and also for a visa-free South Asia. And more recently, in June 2018, he took a foot march from Ahmedabad to India-Pakistan border in Gujarat state, demanding nuclear-free South Asia. He is one of the approved participants of UN high-level meeting to abolish nuclear weapons. Welcome, Dr. Sandeep Pandey. Please share your message for a nuclear-free world.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this forum to talk about nuclear disarmament on the occasion of the meeting of
We can't hear you,
world leaders in the nations. I was supposed to go reason. Hello. She says she's not able to hear me.
Now I can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Okay. So on the occasion of this meeting in New York, where the world leaders are meeting at United Nations, to which I was also supposed to go, but am not able to make it for some reason. As an observer, I was going to attend the meeting on elimination of nuclear weapons on the 26th. I would like to say that it is a very welcome move that is again a priority for the United Nations, because United Nations, the establishment of United Nations was on the basis of one of the important points. The first point, in fact, mentioned was complete elimination of nuclear weapons. But since then, we have seen how country after country and 9 countries in the world have acquired nuclear weapons. United Nations has not been able to accomplish the goal that it set for itself in 1945. There have been various kinds of treaties, like the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, Non-Proliferation Treaty, Fissile Material Cutoff Treaty. These are international treaties, and then we have had, SALT and START treaties between the United States and the then Soviet Union. We have had nuclear weapon-free zone treaties, which were regional. 4 regions in the world have declared themselves to be nuclear weapons free by signing treaty among themselves. So there have been various kinds of treaties, but they haven't resulted in a total elimination of nuclear weapons. The SALT and START treaties brought down the number of weapons to about 10,000 from 30,000. But even that is enough to destroy the world, over a number of times. The nuclear weapon free zone treaties are more promising because they have prevented the development of nuclear weapons in over 100 countries. But there are countries which pursued the path of madness. The 5 Security Council members have made nuclear weapons, and India, Pakistan have tested the weapon. Israel has made it, and North Korea had it. So in all, 9 countries have the technology. Iran is on the way of making it, but it hasn't tested it yet. It was quite a dismal scenario that everybody was talking about nuclear disarmament, but it wasn't actually happening. So the resolution in the United Nations for banning the nuclear weapons was a very welcome development, although it did not involve the participation of the nuclear weapon states. But the countries of the world came around and said that this weapon should be banned. And another positive development which has taken place recently is the unilateral decision by North Korea to dismantle its nuclear weapons program. And it has extended a hand of friendship to the United States. The meeting of head of states of United States and North Korea has already taken place. Another one is in the offing. And recently, the head of states of the 2 Koreas met and spent a considerable amount of time together. And the North Korean head of state has repeated again his commitment to completely wind up the nuclear weapons program of North Korea. This is very important development because we have seen that various kinds of treaties, especially among the or in which the nuclear weapon states are involved, are not helping us. In spite of the non-proliferation treaty saying that the nuclear weapon it prevents other than 5 Security Council members from developing nuclear weapons, but it also says that the big 5 will ultimately wind up their nuclear weapons. But it hasn't happened. And similarly, the START and the SALT treaties also brought down the numbers, but they did not completely eliminate the nuclear weapons. So it looks like that the North Korean way, that is, countries unilaterally deciding to disarm, is the way to go about. And if the other countries can be inspired by the North Korean initiative, I think the ideal of nuclear disarmament can be achieved. And I don't see any reason why the North Korea, South Korea example cannot be replicated between India and Pakistan. After all, these 2 countries are also, they have a similar culture, they share a number of things which are common, and they can talk to each other in their own language, and they are in a position where they can reach a decision to disarm themselves completely, because we have seen that even though our soldiers continue to die at the borders, but whenever the head of states or the security chief advisors or the intelligence chiefs, 2 retired intelligence chiefs of the 2 countries have written a book together. Now, what can be more a better example of cooperation? So, if the elite of the 2 countries can cooperate whenever they want, why can't they take a decision to completely nuclear disarm themselves and also establish friendship, establish peace between themselves, and until that ideal is achieved, they can at least take a decision like India and China have done, that they will not kill each other's soldiers. It is an unspoken, unwritten agreement, but we know that no soldiers die on the either side of India-China border. So a similar agreement needs to be achieved between India and Pakistan. And in the long run, we hope that the 2 countries will achieve the ideal of nuclear disarmament and make South Asia also a nuclear weapon-free zone, like the South America, the Africa, the South Pacific, and the Central Asia, and Mongolia, a single country which has committed itself to nuclear disarmament. So that is the path to take. And in response to Shobha Shukla ji's question, whether sustainable development is possible without, without nuclear disarmament, my answer is no, because India and Pakistan both have been spending, more than education and health combined on their defense. And if such huge amount of resources go into defense, then the vast majority of your population will remain impoverished, will remain illiterate, and will not be able to enjoy the fruits of development. Therefore, in order to achieve the objective of sustainable development, it is necessary that the defense budgets of the two countries are slashed. And we welcome the decision by Imran Khan government to give up palatial housings for the Prime Minister and the governors. They are slashing their lavish budget on the housing and the maintenance of those houses, expensive houses. I think similarly, the two countries should take a decision to slash their defense budgets also, because those are also wasteful expenditures, just like lavish living. And they should take moderate positions, and they should take a path of peace. They should take a path of dialogue, and I'm sure it can be achieved.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pandey. I have a question. What do you have to say about the need for nuclear energy? Our energy needs are increasing every day. Is it sustainable to go in for nuclear energy, as many of the people think?
See, most of the developed world is on the path of giving up nuclear energy. The United States has 104 nuclear power plants at this time. It doesn't know what to do with the radioactive waste. The waste is being stored in drums on the power plant sites. They had chosen the site in Nevada to dump the nuclear waste, but the local people protested and it never happened. Most of the Europe has also decided not to pursue the path of nuclear energy. And Japan, after the Fukushima accident, closed down all its nuclear power plants. So if you look at the trend, the trend is to move away from nuclear energy towards renewable energy. And Europe has committed itself to become a low carbon society by 2050. India and China have been pursuing the nuclear path. We have entered into negotiations with different nations and their respective companies to set up nuclear power plants. But let me tell you that the Indian nuclear power generation history is not a very promising one. In so many years after independence, we have been able to develop just a capacity of about 3% contribution to electricity from nuclear power. And all our plants are not working properly. The plant with the biggest capacity of 6,000 megawatt in Kodamkulam, there was a huge movement of fisher folk against this plant. But right now the plant is not working. It is, it was started because it was a matter of prestige for the Indian government and the Russian government. But I believe that they are using outdated technology. Once an expert was flown in from Bosnia or somewhere, in Europe to fix the plant, but they couldn't do it. And the plant has had, problems, and it is not able to run properly. The other nuclear power plants also, their capacities are very small, and they also have had problems. So I think looking at the amount of money which has been invested in nuclear power, if we were to invest the same amount of money in renewable energy, for example, this coast of Tamil Nadu has about 2 to 3,000 megawatt generation capacity from the windmills. There are windmills located inside the Kodamkulam nuclear power plant. So India, just like the other countries, developed countries, are now tapping their renewable resources, and especially because we are a tropical country, we have sun available all around the year except for some period in the monsoon. We are in a better position to utilize solar energy. We should look at the renewable options and develop the renewable energy sector.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sandeep, for your insightful take on the need for a nuclear weapons-free world for peaceful and sustainable societies. Friends, this online session was streamed live on Facebook and YouTube also. Goodbye till we meet again.